And we're back for the first game. Hello to my opponent, the Island. So, Swamp Moss Lurker is a very good body. Zombie Infantry is fine. However, I think Lightbringer Cleric is a better body. The question is Lurker, which has the higher attack, versus Cleric. Again, I could be wrong, but I think since Lurker can trade up better at later levels, I'm going to play the Cleric now so that it gets to a bigger body so that it has it also can be more effective. Okay, so I'm very likely to play Savant and something. Likely Glutton, but we'll see. I could see Call the Weak or something depending. Even with movement, it's hard for me to take Spectre or to play Spectre over Glutton. I've actually had pretty good luck with just creatures that gain life, like Cleric, plus creatures that deal damage automatically, like the Giant. Alright, here, Necro Slime, without a spell, will not get bigger than Glutton, so Glutton is a safe trade. I don't understand why Deathseeker was played into an open lane. I feel like that should have at least tried to trade with the Cleric. I'm more than happy to, I guess Necro Slime plans to feed on the Seeker, so that makes sense anyway, but I'm gonna go ahead and get my Savant here. My opponent won't be able to attack with his Deathseeker at least, so that's not bad. I'm happy to level as many Grove Matriarchs as I can. It clutters up the board and makes it just very hard to play super beneficially. Delver is also very good if I can get an empty lane, but it pretty much requires one. I like that they changed this into a dinosaur now. That makes me like it more. Huh, that's interesting. Somebody picked up the Firestorm. Okay, so Matriarch will leave something behind, and Delver over here will be an empty lane, so it'll grow. So this is not looking too bad. Necro Slime looks good. Ravager would be fine. Zombie Infantry would be fine. Really depends on what my opponent's got out. Okay. Okay. Hulk control. Okay. I'm again kind of confused that the Delver is left to its own devices. Maybe my opponent has other things that he expects to trade. Oh, maybe he's going to Zephyr Mage his guy in front of it? That seems fine. I could throw the Prowler in front of it, but it's really not worth trading with that for me. So, do I want to level up the Ravager or the Infantry? I think I'm going to level up the Ravager because it trades the same here, but it's got a slightly bigger level 3. So, the Spirit Warrior may be moved. We'll see. Either way, it will take a spell for me to not keep my Delver. Alright, I think Savant and Lightbringer Cleric are the two obvious picks here, but we'll see what my opponent plays. That's fine. I could call that if I really wanted to keep my Delver alive, but a level 1 Delver is going to be worse than most of my level 2 spells at this point. The interesting thing about this game that I always have to keep going back to remembering is how important it is to pay attention to what you're leveling. Like, not just things that gain advantage on the board. It's generally much more important to play things that level up well. And there's a very thin line between the two. Obviously, that's kind of the whole point of the game, but it's interesting. Alright, so I'll trade off here. I chose not to block the Reaver because I want to keep my Savant with as much health as I can, and oh, this is very nice. Leaving my Savant on the board is very pleasant for me. Okay, so I could do Dreadbolt to try and keep my Cleric alive, or I could just throw Glutton down and maybe a Sower or something. Wait, Sower can pump Glutton, so that's a very easy pick. But I think I will probably go ahead and throw out the Glutton just because it's a nice level 2 creature. And I think it's worth getting that much power on the board. Plus, it'll do some incidental damage. Having this 13 and this 8 will give, or this 11 will give my opponent some potential pause as far as playing something in front of the Savant. We'll see, though. Alright, so we lose the Savant, but not until it's done its part. Alright, Matriarch will trade just fine. Barring craziness. I'll go ahead and get a Spectre leveled up, because level 2 Spectre is fine into play here, rank 3 and such. Alright, Delver is good. Patriarch is a bit late to the party, but can still be effective at rank 2 late in the game. Definitely diminishing returns, of course, though. Okay, so I'm going to play Delver over here so that it does not impact the Spectre's movement. And I'll go ahead and play the Patriarch next to it, which pumps up both of these, which is nice. They're not quite enough together to trade with the Spirit Warrior, but they hold it off for a bit and get in some damage. Definitely better than not being able to pump with the Patriarch. Okay, so this is going to be a 10-10. It might actually be worth Ghastly Touching to trade there. We'll see. No, I think I just keep playing to board advantage. Because my opponent is behind, rather than the Fellwalker, which will keep me with a little more on the board, I think I'm going to go ahead and... How big does that get? That gets +4. 7. So, okay, the Glutton would not actually trade with it. So I think I will go ahead and just Ghastly Touch it, just to get it gone before it gets bigger. Yeah. It would have been nice to keep my Delver from trading evenly here. But I think it's more important to keep the slime from getting big. Definitely wanted to level up that Glutton there, just because the incidental damage is getting to the point at which it's almost backbreaking. But it felt more important to keep my opponent from developing a big threat. Alright. Zombie infantry at this point in the game is probably just more important, so I'm going to go ahead and develop that. So I just want to keep my board advantage. Okay, this is great. These two level 3s will go a long way. Might have been nice if these level 2s had shown up either later or earlier, but that's fine. Okay, so this is going to be at what, 14? Alright. So I could play defensively and try and block in front of those creatures, but I think that that portion of the festivities is past. Let's play aggressively, get our big creatures into empty lanes, and see what kind of damage we can deal. Alright, Life Shaper Savant into Feral Instinct is actually pretty good here. could definitely pump the heck out of my Glenn. Yeah, we're gonna already get 18 damage in. I think the Feral Instinct plus this Trample is gonna be pretty good. Yeah, 20 damage plus these 2 creatures on the board that my opponent has to block makes this Savant just too much. Alright, that's good. I'll be back in a minute with the second game.